everybody. Day 6 of the Week of Making. This is so exciting. I love all of these essays. I love all of these people doing these essays. I love making most of all, and I hope that we are inspiring you to do some making. Today's essay is brought to you by...
Hi, I'm Annalee Newitz. I am the tech culture editor at the fine publication Ars Technica, where I write about science and tech. And I'm also a science fiction writer. My first novel is called Autonomous, and it's coming out in September from Tor Books. And I'm super happy to be here with Tested for National Makers Week, and I'm going to talk about making stories. So I recently found the very first book that I ever published. Published is probably a very generous term. This book is from when I was 7 years old. And it was a book that I made out of my favorite vocabulary words from the time. And what's funny about it is that it's actually kind of predictive of a lot of things that I've later done with my career as an adult. One of the things that I thought was hilarious about it was that I wanted the book to seem really legit. So I said, it's by Annalee, but also published by Annalee Press. Always a fine press it is. But the funny thing is that I actually, when I was trying to break into writing, when I was a fledgling writer, I actually did do self-publishing. I didn't have Annalee Press, although that was a good first idea. But some friends of mine in grad school back in the 90s, we got together and created an online zine. That's what we called it. Like I said, it was the 90s. And it was called Bad Subjects. And that was where I published some of my very first journalism. And that spirit of kind of building my own thing has always been a big part of how I've done my publishing. And later, I founded IO9, which was another online publication about science and science fiction. And, for that, I had financial support from a company and I had people working with me, but the idea was the same. Like we didn't feel like there was anything out there that was publishing the kind of stuff that we wanted to write. So we thought, let's make our own thing. And luckily people liked it. It wasn't just like Annalee Press. The other thing about my $1 million word book that I would like to point out is that the first vocabulary word that I have in here is the word adapt. And so even back then, I was trying to write about science, and I talked about the extinction of the dinosaurs, and I explained very carefully, or perhaps not very carefully, the dinosaurs could not adapt to the cold, so they died. And it's funny because... without even remembering that this book existed, I named my first nonfiction science book Scatter, Adapt, and Remember. And it was about mass extinction. And I have a whole section about how the dinosaurs died most of the dinosaurs died, the ones that didn't evolve into birds. And they died because they couldn't adapt after this, massive asteroid impact really meteorite impact. Threw a bunch of debris into the environment. It blocked the sun and, lowered the temperatures on Earth. And so basically, I guess I've been obsessed with writing about science since I was a really little kid. And the main difference is that, now I can publish with, publications that are maybe a little bit more well-regarded than Annalee Press. And I've even, tricked some people into paying me to write. And when I think about what makes me happy and excited about science journalism and science writing, it's that it's investigative journalism that focuses on finding the unexpected, the beautiful, and the awe-inspiring in the world. And I think, most of us think investigative journalism kind of uncovers like dirt and lies and, the horror behind politics. And that's super important. But we also need to know about things like the hidden patterns in nature and the ways that planets are formed and, what kinds of patterns exist in the ways that humans build civilizations, all of these things can be talked about through telling stories about science. And so whether it's in my nonfiction or my fiction, my goal as a writer is always to help people investigate for themselves and see the kind of hidden, beauty and patterns that lurk just under the surface.